Once again, what's up, Vegas Zeitgeist? Back with Jay Jordan, who is doing my biographical sketch. And if you want to know more about how to do your biographical sketch, go to johnedwardjordan.jj@gmail.com. And now, before we go talk about more about my life, my story, Jay Jordan, hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And happy Thanksgiving to you.
Right. Thank you. And he's going to read again a little bit out of This Is My Beloved.
By Walter Benton.
And in dedication to my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just maybe show that.
Right.
Mom
and as I read this, this is what they did not do. They didn't forget each other. But in the poem, it says, in the August 9th entry, each season of the year, I will be forgetting you. All over. Each season, every year. I will need to forget you each summer, spring, autumn, and winter. Quick recap.
Thank you.
We were at the part of your biography where you finally got a chance to come to the United States and meet your father in person. Mm-hmm. And we want to, you had a chance to get to realize that you guys had a lot of personality that was shared. And this is after about 43 years of life. 46. You were 46 years old when you met him.
Years.
And you discovered that you had a lot of personality traits that were quite mutually admirable. And so we want to pick up the story from there. Is there a hint of an answer from Tears, Spaghetti, and Theater? Can you tell us about that little segment? Do you mind?
There was Spaghetti, Tears, and Theater, right? Spaghetti, Tears, and Theater.
Right.
Well, okay. In my mind, I go back to the apartment or the senior home where my dad lived and mentioned that he was sick. He had throat cancer, what I didn't know. But nevertheless, we had that wonderful time, shared that. And then the evening came, and I realized all of a sudden I was so tired. I was worn out. All of a sudden I said, I gotta go, I wanna go. And he said, where you wanna go? I said, I don't know, but I need to lay down or whatever. I had the feeling I need space. Mm-hmm. So, and he said, he wrote down, I have clean linen as well. And so, I know, but I needed to leave. So I checked out in the yellow book for a taxi cab and for a hotel. The cab came, the hotel, I don't know the name anymore, but when we were driving to the hotel, it was on Alexander Street. I said, wow, what is that? My last name is Alexander. So I went to the hotel and I laid down for a while just, to reflex and just to relax. And then I realized I haven't eaten all day. I flew from Florida in the morning and came to Rochester, New York in the winter, all of a sudden cold, and I was overwhelmed. So I thought, okay, leave the hotel room and see where I can get something to eat.
Right.
And then there was right away, I walked, and I don't know how long, 5 minutes was cold, and then there was that Italian restaurant. So I walked inside, and I sat down and I ordered some spaghetti, and then the phone rang. My cell phone rang, and it was my son. And he said, hey, Mom, how you doing? And the moment I heard his voice, and I had my fork and my phone, and all of a sudden, tears run into the spaghetti. I was crying. I didn't even know where it came from, but I was just, and he started singing a song, what was our favorite song. He said, you're good, you're fine, you made it. You're on your mission, and you did it. And it was Womack and Womack, Teardrops in My Eyes. I don't know, it's Whisper in the Powder Room, something like that. We had a connection with that song. Anyways, that was the the tears and the spaghetti. So when I was done with that, and then there was on the other side in the restaurant at another table, there was a party sitting, three elderly, maybe over 75. One gentleman, he had white hair with a ponytail, and these ladies were well dressed, and they were always looking and checking out what
Right.
who's this lady. So and then all of a sudden, this gentleman, he asked me, "Are you going as well to the theater?" I said, "Theater? I have my theater over here. I'm not going to any theater." And
Right.
she said, "Oh, what are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I'm, as I said, I have my own play right now. I do not want to go to the theater, but thank you for asking." And then the gentleman said, "Would you mind? You're sitting there all by yourself. Would you mind to join us?" I said, "Sure." So I went over to this table, and wonderful, wonderful people, and they of course start asking, "What play are you talking about?" So I start telling them my story, and they were so fascinated, and we were talking, or they were listening and listening and listening, and all of a sudden the one lady said, "Well, time is over now. Our play is over, but we were so well entertained. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to listen to your story. Thank you for sharing." So they had actually their $150 tickets to go to the theater play, and they stayed with me, and it was wonderful. And I really I enjoyed this.
They actually got some dinner theater, didn't they?
Yes, exactly, exactly. And that's why in my book, there is a book coming up,
Right.
and there is the title is or the one of the segments is a spaghetti. What did it say?
Tears.
Spaghetti, tears, and
Tears,
theaters.
flavor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was that, and yeah. So that was one of the episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was karma.
Yeah. Karma, tell us a little bit about that.
The
Did you-
karma, right.
Mhm.
I the next day, first of all, I went over to my dad's house, and my aunt came, my Aunt Marilyn, and we had a lot in common. I didn't, as I said, they were actually all strangers to me, but it's not. It's not. There was so much a connection. She was doing wonderful work with the church in regard of marketing and photography, and she was very engaged in it. And we spent a good time together, meeting other relatives. And then in the evening, again, I went to my little Italian restaurant.
Mhm.
And sitting there and waiting for one of the tables were open just for one person, there were two ladies waiting as well. And we start talking and invited each other just to join the table. And then one lady said, "Well, it's my friend's birthday, and we're going to celebrate her birthday." I said, "Wonderful. What are you doing here?" "Well, actually, I'm looking for my father, and I found him." And she said, "No way," because they had right before they had a conversation. One of these ladies, the lady with the birthday, she was adopted, and the friend was convincing her, "Find your parents, your
Right.
parents. It's going to be better for you." And sure enough, we were meant to meet.
Right.
So, and after this conversation, she was convinced, yes, I'm going to find my family. And then we walked out and wanted to have a drink, and guess what? We found a place, a bar, and it was called Karma. So far to that, and it will be continued next week.
To be continued.
To be continued, and there's a lot of more karma coming up, and
Right.
a lot of interesting parts
Right.
in the upcoming
Your
weeks,
biographical sketch.
in my biographical sketch. And thank you so much
You're
again.
more than welcome.
And I see you next week. Thank you.
Next week.
And
Thanks,
we see
folks.
us in the fourth segment with Lance McGowan. Thank you. Bye bye.